Hello everyone, welcome to our grade 4 ABRSM Rudiment of Music class. My name is Lotana Ernest and I will be taking you on lesson 14, Ornaments. Our learning outcomes for this class is number 1, to understand the meaning of ornaments and also to understand the different forms of ornament signs. Let's get straight into it. When we talk about ornaments, what is the simple definition for ornament in music? Remember, we're only going to limit ourselves to what we should be expected to know in grade 4 for the purpose of our rudiment of music exams, grade 4. Ornaments are extra notes, or what we also call grace notes, which are used to decorate, embellish, or improvise a piece of music. You'll be seeing that these are extra notes or symbols or signs, but altogether we also call them grace notes. So if you don't want to use the word ornaments, you can use the words grace notes, and they are there to help to embellish, to decorate a piece of music. Now there are different ways of writing ornaments. Basically, we'll look at two ways. Number one, ornaments can be written as one or more small-sized notes that are written immediately before a full-sized normal note. So if there is a full size, like you have a music sheet, and then there is a particular note on that music sheet that you want to decorate, which is the normal note or what you call the full-sized note, then you can use one or more grace notes, or what you call ornaments, or small size notes. You can put it before that full size note that you want to decorate, to kind of indicate that as you are playing or performing this music, when you get to this particular note, embellish it, decorate it, flourish it, or improvise based on the particular um, ornament that is indicated in that piece. So it could be one or small sized notes, not full size notes, small sized notes written immediately before the full size notes that they intend to decorate. It could also be just special symbols that are written above the stave or above the notes that they intend to embellish or decorate. So it could be notes or symbols. So note that. Whether if it's a note, then it's a small sized note. If there are symbols, then they are written above the note or above the stave that they intend to decorate. But however, one thing I want you to know is that these small sized notes or symbols, that's ornaments in general, do not add to the number of beats in a bar. So you'll be seeing that even if we introduce some small sized notes into a piece of music, whether it's a quiver or a crochet, those small sized notes that we are introducing as ornaments do not uh, count towards the number of beats in a bar. They do not affect the time signature. So it means whether the ornaments are there or not, the time signature, the number of beats in a bar are the same. So it's not as if when you introduce an ornament, then it increases or diminishes this number of beats in a bar. It's not affected, so you need to see how you can still play the song with the ornament and yet maintain the number of beats in the bar. So that's where some expertise need to come in. But just to add that at grade 4, we are not expecting you to interpret how to play these ornaments or to tell us how this ornament should be performed. What we just want you to know at this level in grade 4 is what the symbols stand for, what the signs stand for. Do you know the names of those ornaments? Do you, when you see that the signs or the symbols of those ornaments in a piece of music, can you say this is what it stands for? That is what it stands for. So kind of basic knowledge. By the time you go to grade 5 and grade 6, 7, and even grade, then you'll be maybe asked to interpret how those ornaments have been performed. Now let's look at the first ornament or grace note that we'll be considering, the Ashiakatura. So the Ashiakatura, as you could see, is we call it a crushed note. It's in music literature, in the literature, in the music literature, it's referred to as crushed notes. And the reason why it's referred to as crushed note is because you can see a diagonal stroke through the stem and flag of the quiver. So remember we said these are small sized notes. The ornaments are small sized notes. You can see this is the full size note, and I am putting this small size note or this ashakatura before this full size note to show that it is this full size note that I want to decorate or embellish. At the same, you can also see it appears. So anytime you see this small sized quiver note that has a diagonal stroke, this is known as ashakatura. Like I mentioned, I won't tell you how to perform this note. You are, of course, you know you're not going to sing or play or perform this note as now a standard crochet. It has to change in terms of performance, but that's not what this grade 4 is all about. Just know that when you see a small size quiver with a stroke, diagonal stroke, it's an ashakatura. It's a grace note known as ashakatura or a crushed note. And one thing I want to mention, which affect all small sized notes, whether ashakatura or other small sized notes, is that they are always linked, although not always, but they are most times they are linked to the full size notes that they are embellishing by a slaw. You can see this slaw link telling me that this small sized note, this ashakatura here, is associated with this full size notes. So please let's know that although it's not always compulsory, even if there are no slots, as long as you see that this is the note that comes immediately before the full size note, you're able to tell which full size note is associated with the small sized ornament. One last thing I want to talk about the ashakatura is that we can have a group of 2 or more ashakatura. In that case, it's no longer ashakatura, it's ashakato. You could see the spelling has changed now since it's plural. So this is what I mean. You could see this. We have two now, two ashakaturas or ashakato, the kind of linked to a full-sized note. So those are just the simple basic fact I want you to know about the ashakatura. And the next small-sized notes we'll be looking at, or the next grace note or ornament we'll be considering, is the appoggiatura. The appoggiatura, you could see that is kind of similar to the ashakatura. It's although we also call this the leaning note. So the ashakatura is the crushed note, and the appoggiatura is known as the leaning note. You know, they are quite similar. The only major difference is that for the appoggiatura, there is no diagonal stroke. You could see no diagonal stroke, and it has implications. But like I mentioned, I'm not going to go into the musical implications or interpretations. We'll just stay at the basic fact of what this note stands for. Uh, and like I mentioned, all small-sized notes are normally linked to the full-size notes by a slaw, whether it's an appoggiatura or an ashakatura. Now let's move to other ornament signs. We've looked at, remember I talked about ornaments. I said they are either small-sized notes or signs. So we've looked at 2 small-sized notes, shakatura and appoggiatura. Now let's look at signs. Other signs that can be used to embellish or decorate a piece of music. So you have the trill or what you call the shake. So the trill is normally represented by either letters TR on top of a note or TR with some wavy symbol. You can see this wavy symbol. Most likely in your grade 4, they may not include wavy symbol, this wavy sign. They may just give you TR. So when you see a TR on top of a note, it means you are to perform a trill on that particular note. So you have to like decorate that note by trilling, by a trill. So just note that. Then we have the mordents, and there are 2 types of mordents, the upper and the lower mordent. I'm not sure you might not be examined on the lower mordent, but it's just good you know them because eventually you will still meet them in grade 5 or upper grades. But they are quite similar. You could see this is the sign of the mordent. Uh, it's similar to the lower mordent, the upper mordent. The lower mordent has a bar across it, a vertical bar, but the upper mordent has nothing. So that's just the basic difference. Of course, the interpretation differs, the musical expression, but just know that this is like I mentioned in grade 4. Not, I don't think you'll be. It's basically upper mordent you'll be so if they talk about mordant and there is no upper or more lower, just know that they're talking about upper mordant. Generally, this is the mordant that is more popular. Uh, And then lastly, we have a turn. A turn, as you can see, this is the symbol, looks like an inverted S, as you can see, on top of the note it intends to decorate. So these are the three ornament signs that we'll be considering for grade 4. As we go upper in the upper level grades, we might still meet some other uh, ornament signs. So we've looked at two small size notes, the acciaccatura, the appoggiatura, and also we've looked at three ornament signs, the trio, the mordant, and the turn. We're going to end with an assignment where we're going to look at exercises 1 and 2 from pages 40 to 41 of our ABRSM workbook 4. So please do those assignments and then pass on your submissions, your workings to me so that I'll be able to go through and give you some feedback. Till then, I will meet you next time again when we will be meeting for our next class. And take good care of yourself. God bless you. Bye for now.